Wagwan? I tried calling you, but I couldn't reach you. I just wanted to know if you were okay. If you were really, really okay, If you're happy. Are you happy? I wish we could have talked on the phone, man, so I could hear your opinion on this or your thoughts on this. If you're really okay. But hey, if you're not, you shouldn't be afraid of dark days. Call me.
What up, what up? Thank you so much for checking out yet another episode of the Kingship Podcast, introducing the instrumental series of the podcast. Yes, I'm doing the absolute most, but I know you like it, so I'm going to keep doing that. So this instrumental series is all about having uncut conversations around mental health. This is the first installment of the series, and it tells the story of why I chose to champion mental health. Have a listen. So, May 27th, 2017 at 6 p.m. I was just come out of the bathroom, right? And my dad, I found missed calls from my dad. He was trying to reach me, right? So when I finally got out the bathroom and called him back, this was actually the day after the Casper concert, and I remember I'd been lazing around in the house because I was exhausted. We had been working the previous night, and I'd just been resting, and pretty much the whole day was a Sunday. So my dad calls me, and when he finally reaches me, I'm like, yo, what's up? It's 6 o'clock. It's like 6 going on 6:30, and he's like, yo, what are you doing? I'm like, no, he actually asked me, are you busy? I'm like, on Sunday at 6:30, like what could I possibly be doing except waiting for Monday to start? So it's like, are you busy? I'm like, no. What's up? It's like, can you come home? I'm like, bro, you never asked me to come home at 6 or 6:30. Like, my folks actually hate it every time I leave home in the evening, because I always like, when into Osiko, like direct translation, why do you like going out at night? So it was pretty strange for me that my dad would ask me to go home at 6:30 on a freaking Sunday. So I'm like, alright, cool, I'm coming through. So in the process of me, just being in the house singing, having a good time, getting ready to go home, he sends me a note on WhatsApp, and he says, that's your sister's. No, actually, no, before that happens, before he actually sends me this note. So I try to call my sister because I'm trying to find out what's going on, like what's so urgent about this situation that I have to come home. I call my mom. So I'm like, yo, what's up? Dada amenipigia ati anasema niende home, kwani what's going on? She's like, she was like, Nichere alikuwa amekunywa OD. So, direct translation for my people who don't speak Swahili, Cherry took an overdose. So my world starts spinning, right? I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about right now? Like, what? Yeah. And I didn't even realize, I didn't think this was gonna be this hard. I tried to rehearse this shit. So I call my boyfriend. I had a boyfriend then, and I was like, yo, can you please come home? I think he was recording. Like, can you please come home? My sister just tried to kill herself. And he said, what do you mean try to kill herself? So I remember snapping at him because I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what don't you understand about this statement? I just said what the fuck I had to say about this, And I just hung up the phone, and I was like, I'm shaking. I hung up the phone, and I was like, fuck it. I'm leaving. I'm going. So, this whole time I'm going home, I'm just thinking like, what's going on? What's this situation? Like, I don't understand. And in 2017, I wasn't really having a great year, so to speak, as far as UnKut was concerned. Like, my shows had kind of flopped. There was there was mismanagement in one place, so I had made like some pretty crazy losses. So this information coming to me at this time was like, okay, how much possibly could this could it get worse? So I go home and no one is home, right? And where like my mom was living in like some uko Kandara. It's like, I think, Pastika. And my dad was in our house in Nairobi. I go home and no one is there. So apparently, my cousin was there. And cousin said, like, yo, everybody, my dad and my sister, they'd gone to meet my mom's to pick her up to come home. So I was like, cool. But at that point, I think I was still in disbelief. I was like, this is crazy. Oh, yeah. So now let's circle back to the note. So, after my mom tells me that, my dad sends me my sister's note, on WhatsApp. She sent me a note that my sister had written before, she took the OD, and she was like, yo, I'm so tired of living, and I'm over it. And she said, funny thing, dad is actually in the living room, but I think I'm gonna do it today, something of that sort. But I remember texting my dad, heartbreaking. But like at that point, I'm shaking. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I'm like, yo, this is some crazy shit. I'm also trying to get ready to go home because living from where I'm at to going home was also kind of a distance. I'm like, okay, I need to get home. It's gonna be okay, because again, I said my parents hate it because I travel at night. I'm a night person. I'm a night owl. So so I get home and no one is home. My cousin is there, a direct cousin, my first cousin, my second cousin. She's home. So I'm like, yo, what's up? What's happening? She's like, oh, she just came home. She was like, hey, it's like God was, something spoke to me because, I just came and I wasn't even coming home. She was coming to talk to my mom about something else, I think, or just coming to visit. I don't remember. The details are kind of blurry, but she was just coming home for some strange reason. And when she came home, she wanted to use the bathroom. So while she wanted to use the bathroom, because no one else was there, my other sister, our last born, so yes, it's my younger sister, the one who's our second born, I'm the firstborn. So she wanted to use the bathroom, but the bathroom was locked. So she's like, hey, okay, so Cheryl is in there. Our pet name for her is Cherry, because mostly we use Sheng. So our pet name for her at home is Cherry, but it's pronounced Cheryl. So she's like, the Cherry is in there. And she's doing her thing, so she kind of went to wait it out. So apparently one of my sister's friends had hit up my parents on Facebook. She was like, hey, yo, are you home? She reached my mom, and she reached my mom actually. She was like, are you home? Please check on Cheryl. I think she's going to do something crazy. Okay, so my mom called my dad, right? This is after now my cousin had been there, and then she was like, hey, Cheryl has been in there for a minute, but she's still waiting. So my dad went to knock on the door, bathroom door. Yeah, this shit happened at home. My dad went and knocked on the door, and banging on it, and my sister had passed out on the toilet seat, and I don't know what they did. I guess he kind of finally opened it and he carried her to the living room, and she threw up, and apparently it was a very emotional moment. But when I get home, obviously I'm just like, I don't know, people tell me I'm a strong person. I don't know what gives them that impression. Maybe something inside of me, or maybe because I'm loud, I don't know. So I guess I've always been that. And I tried to not aggravate the situation by crying, but at the same time I just couldn't keep it together. And my sister kept saying over and over again, I'm sorry. And I'm like, I'm sorry, like, I'm the firstborn. How could I not see like all this shit happening? But anyway, fast forward to It was her second attempt. You know, I'd asked her at some time before what had happened to her arm, and apparently she had cut herself, but she told me she fell. She was cycling and she fell on glass. That shit didn't make sense to me. But then also, my sister and I are pretty close, so I was like, she would never lie to me. So I was like, alright, cool. I'm not gonna be like disrespectful by trying to like question you further. If she says she fell, she says she fell, you know. But then, you know, I heard that was the first attempt and this was the second one, and I really don't know what happened in that period of time to really lead her to that moment. But you know, they say that you never really know what happened. So, you know, we had a conversation about it. You know, my mother was there. She's crying. She's like feeling inadequate. She's asking, like, you know, we're all just like, you know, what the fuck is going on? So that's the next day. The first day was just, you know, we chilled, we prayed, and like I guess we tried to talk about it. Honestly, I don't really remember what happened that night. If I tried to talk, but I remember there was a lot of praying and, you know, like a lot of crying also. So yeah, the next day my dad had left. He had a breakdown at work. Somebody had to drive him home. I also left, went to my own crib. No, actually after 2 days. No, the next day, because I had to go to work, is when I went back to my crib. And I remember I had been invited for Nasty C's listening session for Strings and Bling, but I couldn't make it because I just got to the house. Like, I think I put up a front all through the way from home to my house. I think like my mind was just racing, but I remember getting to the door of the house and like getting to the bedroom and just like fucking breaking down. And I was just like, yo, I'm so sorry, I'm not gonna be able to make a Nasty C's thing tonight. I really don't have the strength to be around people at this time. And honestly, that situation really changed my life in a very crazy way, because you know, that's one thing you see on the internet, but you never think could happen so close to home, you know? Yeah, so that was the situation for me. I was like, yo, like, how did I not see this coming? And then, like, I started questioning myself, like, what is it about me that makes her feel like she can't talk to me about shit like that? Like, for her to get to that moment and actually tell her friends who would try to reach my parents on Facebook, like, why couldn't she call me? Why couldn't she tell me? Like, it was such a heartbreaking moment, and like, it was just so crazy. I remember like just crying and like, yo, it was ugly. So how that shit changed my life, it was crazy. Fast forward, that was May 2017, right? And in August, my then boyfriend and I he just launched his project, and we're having a party, and we were drinking, we're turning up, right? So yeah, Shorty was wasted. I think I was drinking a lot because it really got to a point where I couldn't even sit in the living room of my house. I had to like get on the balcony because I always felt so suffocated. I always felt so constricted. Like, I'd sit in the matatu and just, I couldn't get on the little ones because I'd feel like everything was caving in on me. And when I got on the big ones, I always ended up breaking down in the middle of the journey. Like, my boyfriend was always like, okay, my ex, fuck. He was always like, why you crying? And I was just like, this nigga is an asshole. Honestly, I'm so sorry if you're listening to this right now. That's what I was thinking. I was like, this nigga is an asshole. I just told you my sister tried to commit suicide and you're asking me why the fuck I'm crying. Like, I know he meant well. Honestly, don't take it wrong. He's a really good dude. He has a really pure heart. I know he was trying to be like, no, don't cry. But then how it came to me was like, stop being an asshole. And like, it was just a very traumatic time for me. So August, he's launched his project, and you know, we start fighting in front of people, in front of company. We get to the house, and you know, Shorty's wasted, I'm hella wasted, and I end up getting hurt. You know, like there was an escapade with the security guard, and I remember just keeping on telling him like, yo, I remember telling him, like, yo, like, there's nothing to live for, you know? It was fucked up. It was a really fucked up time. because after May, I had a show for UnKut in Thika in June, and it was a terrible show. Like, I didn't make sales. Again, you remember in March I had a show, I didn't make sales. In June, I wanted to cancel it, but then my sister was like, if you cancel that show, I'm gonna feel like it's because of me, and that's not weight that I want to carry, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, alright, cool, I'm gonna go through with it. So I went through with it, and Jude made fucking losses. I was in debt, actually. And then, coming back to that, then fast forward to August, I think like at that point I was just like, I'm almost giving up. It's only that I can't kill myself, but if something does, it's okay, it's fine, because I'm ready to go. Like, it's better than living a life of suffering. So yeah, fast forward August, I wake up morning, my boyfriend is like, my ex is like, have you even seen yourself? I'm like, no. Why? Because I remember the night before we were drinking, and I woke up, he wasn't in bed next to me, so I knew I had fucked up. Like, every time he wasn't next to me in bed, or he was sleeping on the couch, I knew I'd said some shit, or we'd argued, some bullshit. Yeah, this is me saying I wasn't perfect too. So I woke up, I'm like, okay, fuck, where is he at? And then he comes in the room, he's like, have you even seen your face? I'm like, no. Why? What's up? So he brings the mirror to my face, and oh my god, my face was all fucked up. The right hand side of my face, I was swollen. All of my face was swollen, and then the right hand side is like I'd fallen, I'd scratched my face, like I'd really, like, bruises. It looked like I had been in an accident. So because I was drunk, I don't remember what was happening the night before, but I do remember that part was like beat me to the death of me. It's cool. So I don't know who did that, but I remember it was outside, and I think it was a security guard. So because my boyfriend wasn't there at the time, he'd gone to look for the key, which I had lost because I was drunk. Damn, I honestly, my life spiraled after May. So there was an escapade. He shows me my face. My face is all fucked up. I don't have my phone. I had to be indoors. I tell him, like, I apologize because honestly, I really, really loved him. Honestly, he's a kind person. He didn't deserve any of the shit that I was giving him most of the time, to be quite honest. So I'm like, I'm really apologetic about this shit. And then we make up. I'm like, I'm so sorry. Honestly, I really am. I really was, and I really still am about that shit. I can't obviously take it back or correct any of that shit, but it happened. So we were like, we're good. So I have to stay indoors for a week because, it was telling me outside in the building my blood was all over because I'd cut myself. I have a little scar on my left hand next to my tribal tattoo. I'd put my hand in glass and it had popped open. So in the morning I had that wound on my left hand, and then my face was fucked. Yeah, and then also a hangover. So yeah, it was pretty interesting morning. So anyway, all this situation after that just made me realize that you always imagine some shit is so far away from you. Because I remember back in college, I had a boyfriend who had lost both of his parents, and he was being raised by his grandparents, and he used to talk to me about his feelings of inadequacy, like, who am I, what did I do to deserve to grow up without parents? Why did they have to die so early? And he told me once, he was emotional and shit, and he'd tell me about I'm crying or I'm feeling depressed, and I'd be like, don't be a pussy, like, grow up. Which nigga is crying? Like, grow the fuck up, man. Yeah, so you think that it's so far away from you, but that shit is much closer than you expect. And throughout the process of my feelings of inadequacy as an elder sister who didn't even notice that my sister was going through it, or I judged myself for not being open enough for her to come and talk to me about stuff like that. It made me feel like how many other people are out there who might have gone through the same situation, or who are in the same position, and they're just like, what the fuck is going on? That made me want to focus more on mental health, you know. And I do have uncomfortable conversations with my sister. I'm like, yo, I heard, some shit went down, what's up? And we just sit there and we just, we talk about stuff. It's a conversation that hasn't been raised at home as a family. Our youngest doesn't even know, but up until this day, like, every time I use that bathroom, sometimes it flashes in my mind and I'm just like, yo, this is crazy. This is crazy. I'm like, I don't know. It just takes me to a point. But my sister and I are cool. I got her therapy, I got her signed up for therapy. I had her talking to somebody, and we're still working through it. This is not like a one-day process, but yeah, this is as vulnerable as I've tried to be, as open and as honest as I've tried to be about the situation. And besides one friend actually and my ex, this is the first time that I'm actually giving this story in detail of how it actually went down and what really happened and what really inspired this whole journey. And shout out to my ex for also, giving me that idea. He said, with everything happening with your sister, it would be a great time to champion that, because a lot of people are going through it, especially in hip-hop, even outside of hip-hop. But I'm talking about hip-hop because we're a hardcore genre and everyone is just like, I'm the man, I'm the nigga, no one is just as willing to be open about these conversations and honest and just be like, yo, I've been at a place. But lately I've seen a lot more people come out with their stories and just be like, yo, it's been tough, it's been a minute. And shout out to you for being a champion for mental health and coming out and speaking about it. So that's my story. That's what inspired this whole mental health journey. And since it's mental health week, all of this week we're gonna be doing a series of those, so look out for those. And hang in there, stay strong, stay dope, stay you. You're not your circumstances. They don't define you. Peace. Thank you for checking this out. If you enjoyed this, please share with your friends and look out for this podcast across my Facebook page, Ruby V, and also my YouTube page, which is Just Ruby V. And add me on social media at Just Ruby V. If you have any stories that you want to share on the podcast about your mental health journey, feel free to talk to me. This is a dope space. This is a free, non-judgmental space. So get at me, hit me up at Just Ruby V, and let's talk from there. Thank you so much.
Talk about dark days. Nimeamka na hangover na dunga dark shades, trying to hide my black face, I must say. Nimetoka kukimbizana kwa hii rat race. We in the last days, not talking about revelation but a revolution, a solution to mental